So here's a brief tutorial on how to coordinate all the joints in your arm to figure out how to work the bow. If you kind of break it down one at a time, it's a lot easier to think about instead of just moving your arm as one. So let's look at what each of the joints contribute to the bow moving motion. So a lot of beginning fiddle players, when they first start out, they're kind of doing all of their bow motion from their shoulder, like this. Now if you try and do this fast, and you try and do this for say a half hour, you'll figure out pretty quick why this won't work. It's a slow joint. It's not meant for fast articulate work. If you take a look at your elbow and move it back and forth like this works great for the sawing back and forth motion. The issue with this though is that your elbow moves in an arc. If you had a bow in your hand right now, you'd be poking yourself with it. So it kind of needs a buddy joint. So take a look at your wrist. Now if you're moving your wrist this way, there's not a lot of range of motion to that. If you turn it, like you're looking at the face of a watch, now you have this range of motion. If this works back and forth with your elbow, it kind of counteracts that bend and creates a straight line in front of your body out of what would have otherwise been an arc. This only works if these two joints stay level with one another. If your elbow drops below your wrist and you get the little TRX arms like this, that will not work for bowing. So, what you have here is wrist goes back and forth, elbow moves with it, and your shoulder raises and lowers your elbow joint to keep up with your wrist. So joint by joint, this range of motion from your shoulder, this from your elbow, this from your wrist, and this from your fingers, okay? So what this means is that you're going to try and find a bow grip where your wrist is in this position rather than this position. One way to get into this is to hold the bow in front of you the way it's going to be when you're playing, and kind of have like an invisible cup of coffee in this hand, so you're keeping this round. Set this on the bow and turn it totally upside down. If you're just on the side, it won't work. You have to turn it like this. Put your thumb on the inside of the bow. You can see that there's a little bit of bend to my thumb going out rather than in. This balances better. And then just drop those other three fingers over the front. You have a pretty good working bow grip from there. See how everything lines up? This is what you're shooting for. If your elbow drops down like this won't work for you. If your hand turns this way, that doesn't work either. So a lot of this can be worked out by just watching yourself play in front of a mirror. You're never going to watch this and think that it's going to be productive. Kind of look for that shape in your own bow arm. Good luck!